Isabel, very good morning to you.
I'm hoping so, yeah. Good morning.
This is a hell of a mess, isn't it?
It is a complete mess. I mean, it's hard to imagine a worse backdrop for the Labour Party going into their party conference at the end of this month. I mean, it is going to be an absolute bloodbath. That conference
Yeah.
kicks off in 2 weeks' time, and it's going to be basically a sort of beauty parade for those who want to take over from Starmer, with the media pouncing on every comment on the fringe or off the main stage or even on the main stage of those who are trying to set out their stall. I mean, absolutely delicious for us political reporters, but a disaster for Downing Street.
Right. And worse than that, he's now got a very upset and angry Lord Mandelson roaming around Westminster, vowing to take him out sort of mafia style and basically ruin him. And he says, if I'm going to go down, he's going to come down with me. And already lots of Labour MPs are expecting some really interesting pieces of information, shall we say, to be floated into the public domain.
I mean, absolute get your popcorn out time, isn't it? The last person on earth anyone would want to have coming for them is Peter Mandelson, because my God, he's going to know a few unsavoury things, isn't he? It's very clear that Starmer can't go on. You know, people are saying he can't go on to the next election. I mean, the notion that he can survive another year seems to be pretty fanciful to me. At this rate, I'm not even sure he can survive until Christmas.
I know.
Until what is expected to be a very, very bloody set of local government elections and Welsh elections in next spring. I mean, it really looks terminato for him.
Yeah, it does indeed. I like that word. Diane Abbott was on GMB this morning. Have a look at what she had to say.
Peter Mandelson apparently is very bitter and twisted. He thinks the Prime Minister has failed him. And a bitter and twisted Peter Mandelson, who knows stuff, is not a Peter Mandelson you want out there.
I mean, you know, there are times when she's been around a long time and you have to listen to what she has to say.
Well, that is true. Although, you know, for Peter Mandelson to be sort of venting his spleen at Keir Starmer feels a bit rich, really. I mean, he was given the chance of a lifetime by Keir Starmer in a way. You know, I can't imagine anyone else moronic enough to bring him back a third time after 2 cabinet resignations.
Yeah.
And yet Keir Starmer let him try to be third time lucky, let him try to demonstrate that he was capable of overturning the habit of a professional lifetime and not actually screwing things up and not creating some disastrous scandal for the government. You know, Keir Starmer, to give him his due, put his faith in Peter Mandelson. It was a daft thing to do.
Yeah.
For Mandelson now to sort of turn that on Starmer, I mean, frankly, he should shuffle off, but it's not going to happen, is it?
No, because that's not his way, is it? And that's the point, you know, because I was saying to Kate Hoey earlier, the way that some of the Blairites operate is that they've been in the background, but they've been very much pulling a lot of strings, I think, since about 10 years ago or so, preparing Starmer to be the next guy. And, you know, the reason Mandelson is so matey with Morgan McSweeney is because they work together under Blair, you know, and it's this sort of, it is a bit like the Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, I mean, it's all interconnected. You know, there was some very useful and interesting coverage over the weekend, sort of showing this spider's web of where all the relationships lie, and it does all lead back to those Labour grandees that still think that they can, whilst operating in the shadows, still think that they control power in Downing Street, and up to a point they have done, but it hasn't led the country anywhere good. I mean, the whole thing is a total catastrophe, and I think the protest over the weekend is an insight into just the scale of frustration amongst so many ordinary voters. I mean, we're showing now aerial footage of that. Sorry, I mean, if that is 110,000 people, you know, I'm a piece of granary bread. I mean, this is, let's put that figure into context. If that's 110,000 people, that's only a little over double the number of Channel migrants that have come over since Keir Starmer. Is that an illustration you would like? Is that just over double the number of Channel migrants?
It's a very good point. I mean, people have said to me, and I think it's a very good analogy for most people to think about, 110,000 people is about how many people get into Wembley Stadium. So if you've ever been to Wembley Stadium for any event, you can see the numbers coming out, and that is a lot bigger than that. That's a minimum 5 times bigger.
Well, I haven't had the pleasure of going to Wembley Stadium, so I'm going to stick with my Channel migrant numbers and I'd like to ask Downing Street if they accept that the scale of the turnout was only double the number of migrants who've come across the Channel since they've been in power, and let's see if they say yes to that one. It's intriguing as to why there is such a determined effort to underplay this turnout, you know, taking us all for fools. We can all clearly see that that is far more than they're suggesting. I think Trevor Phillips's monologue on Sky yesterday, which I think Sky for some reason has deleted, sort of in a way sums it up. I mean, it was kind of a pompous, you know, very surprising and alarming that these are ordinary people. Yes, ordinary people have had enough. They're absolutely fed up. And they're not all far right or racist or abusing the police or any of that. And you know, as your last contributor was saying, what a great advertisement it is. You know, the guy that left the voice note, stop advertising the opposition.
I know.
You know, every time they talk about far right, racist, all of that, it just galvanises the support for other parties.
Well, that's it. And I mean, Trevor Phillips has written a piece in the Times today saying, dismiss Unite the Kingdom march at your peril. So I think while he was probably perhaps taken aback, at least he seems to be seeing it for what it is, which is something pretty significant. I think we've got his clip, actually. Let's have a look.
The most alarming aspect of the event was just how normal the vast majority of the marches were. I spent an hour or two amongst them, and my own impression was that they were mostly the sort of people you'd meet in a country pub or in half-time queue for the loo at football or at a concert. There was a sprinkling of black and brown faces, and the event was brought to a close by a gospel group singing Jerusalem. All that must worry the traditional mass parties, Labour and Conservatives, now polling at less than 40% between them.
I mean, they're in a bad place, aren't they, both of them?
Really very, very bad place. And although that all sounds a bit pompous, you know, the astonishment that he clearly has that the people who turned out weren't all, you know, having horns coming out of their head and foaming at the mouth and ready to attack anybody who confronted them. I think Trevor Phillips does, in a sense, do everybody a favour by giving his highfalutin view and confirmation, as it were, that most of these were just ordinary voters who are absolutely sick, fed up, and need some way of demonstrating their anger. And I wasn't there, but by and large, compared to, for example, the Notting Hill so-called carnival, actually it was pretty peaceful.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I mean, that's the other thing, is that, you know, are we supposed to be thinking now that the new Shabana Mahmood plan of 1 in, 1 out, put a you know, a migrant on an Air France plane, send them off to France, bring back somebody different, is going to placate them? No.
Well, I was trying to explain this scheme to somebody not from the UK, and as I was trying to explain the 1 in, 1 out thing, I just kind of started laughing because it is so laughable. You know, if you try to actually set this out, you're just left thinking, how does that make anything any better? And we all know anyway that it's not 1 in, 1 out, as you said, 1 in, 1 out, 17 in, or whatever it may be. Also, I would question this information that it's supposedly only 1 guard per deportee. It'll be way more than that in terms of personnel. I mean, the cost of these deportations, something I happen to know a fair bit about, the amount of personnel that's involved in every deportation is quite astonishing. I mean, they will have, undoubtedly, they'll have doctors on duty on those planes. They will literally be taking over medics to accompany those deportees. I mean, the rest of us struggle to get any access to a doctor, but if you're being sent back from whence you came, you can be assured that you're going to be medically looked after.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. Nothing could be further from the truth. Isabel, good to see you. Thank you very much.